What's going on? This is Brandon Michael with Yarusi Holdings, and today we are going to be talking about what to look for when acquiring a property. And if you like this, please subscribe, comment, and share our videos. Now, when we talk about acquiring a property, what do we need to look at? What do we need to analyze? Well, there's a couple of different things we're going to have to do. We're going to have to underwrite the deal. We're going to have to go and walk the property, tour it, see it for ourselves. And then we're going to have to do some due diligence. We're going to have to take all that and put it into an equation and factor that out to see if it is, in fact, a good deal or it's a bad deal. So I'm going to tell you how I go about that. And hopefully it'll help you with my experience in real estate and trying to acquire properties and what we look for here at Yarusi Holdings. And so the first thing is analyzing the data. Anything that you can find when it comes to rent rolls, when it comes to past performance, when it comes to any financial logs for the past few years, that always helps. Anything that is listed with the quote unquote listing from the agent is helpful, but you'll need more information. All the information that you see out there on the internet is not going to be enough. There are more questions you need to deep dive into. You need to see what's going on with the property from a financial standpoint. You need to see how many vacancies they have. You need to see other, financial logs of the past few years. You need to see what current rents are and what comparable rents are in the area. So you're able to analyze, is this an underperforming property in regards to rent, or is it something, we have a pretty good number here, we can work with this. In most cases, I would say that everybody could have their rents raised or a price bump in there. Now, you have to be careful with that because you just can't assume that you're going to automatically increase those prices day one. So there's a little bit in there in the analyzing part of it that you have to keep in mind, and you have to be realistic about those expectations. And when you're going to raise the value of the property by raising those rents, there's a specific way to do it. Now, there's not just a one and done, this is how you have to do it. There are several ways to go about it, and you need to choose the path that's going to be the one with least resistance, and also the one that is going to be able to get you to your goal that you're trying to get to when you're talking about rents and how much each door needs to be paying per month. Now, another thing that we will talk about is going to actually see the property. I love it. I usually refer to it as like, hey, time to go take a field trip. We're going to go see and analyze this property. We're going to walk around it. We're going to see what external features are that they have that may be, not up to date or could use some help. That could be pings and dings and cracks and, anything in the foundation, how are the windows, how are the gutters, how are the roofs? All of that really does matter when you're touring your property and you're looking from an external point of view. Then you get to go in and peel the layers back of the onion, and you're able to see what's inside. And so when you're doing property walks and looking at properties from the interior, you need to make sure you need to check out. I always start at the top, right? I always go from the ceiling and I work my way down to the floor. So start at the top, start at the ceilings, look at the walls, look and see if they have washer dryer hookups, see how their countertops and kitchens and bathrooms look. You need to be able to analyze this and keep in mind that, hey, listen, what you have now is working. Can we get it better? Can we make it better and charge more for that? That's the key. And that's what you want to look for when you're going on property tours and being able to look out and inside of these properties. And so another thing that I like to do is I like to engage residents that are there while I'm on my property tour. If anybody's standing outside or, I can get somebody's attention, I usually ask them about the property. I say, hey, how's it been going here? What's been going on here for the past, how long you been here? Oh, that's cool. Well, tell me a little bit more about that. And they're pretty glad to share information and details, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? So you're able to at least see what's going on there from their point of view, somebody who lives there, somebody who calls that home. So it's a good way to be able to connect and just assume that the property manager is not going to tell you all the little details that you want to know, especially when you're trying to acquire this property. In most cases, they're afraid to lose their jobs, so they're going to be pretty tight-lipped about that. The other thing that I want to go through is when you're looking and analyzing for yourself, when you're walking around these apartments or multifamily properties, that you need to use all of your senses. It's one of those things where you can use your eyes, you can use your ears to listen to people as they talk. You have to ask people questions. You have to get information. But there's also something else there, and it's one of those things I call it my gut feeling. It's like, do you in your gut get a feeling that these properties or this property that you're looking at is viable? Is this something? Would you live there? Would you want your family members living there? Take a look around and see, analyze not just the numbers, not just what you're seeing and hearing. I want you to be able to take all that and put it in your gut and be able to say, hey, listen, how does this feel? And if your gut tells you this is a pretty good deal, listen to your gut. Don't be one of those people that listens to your gut, dismisses the numbers. I'm not saying that in any form or fashion. I'm just saying that you've got to be able to look at the numbers, analyze it. It's got to make sense, right? It's got to make sense on paper. And then when you are able to go and tour the property, see it, talk to people, get a really good feel for what it is you're investing in, let your gut do the deciding. And so there's also a period of due diligence that we need to look at, that we need to talk about, because in your offer, you are more than likely going to say, hey, listen, give me some due diligence time. Give me a period that may be 30 days, it may be 60 days, it may be 365 days, depending on what you're buying and what you're investing into. And you also need to take a look during that time, that due diligence period, that you are able to study more financials, that you're able to take a look underneath the hood. You're able to go through each part detail by detail to make sure that everything that they're saying is actually true. It's actually correct and factual. I will say in most cases, when a listing agent or somebody is selling a property, they're going to make it look as good as possible. That's their job, right? They're there to market and get it out to the public. Your job as a buyer is to understand, analyze that, go and check that information, make sure that there's confirmation that those numbers align. And then there's also, pain points you need to look into and bring up. That's the thing that you have to ask. You have to take it upon yourself to make sure that you're able to ask those tough questions. Here's the deal. It's your investment. Other people are going to be investing with you as well. So make sure that you ask those tough questions. Be able to be transparent and just say, hey, listen, we need to get on the same page here. We need to make sure that this is aligning with that and that everything that you're presenting us with is as is. Or you can tell us about those pain points. We're more than glad to work with it. Most of these aren't deal breakers. They're just communication between two people and two parties that need to be upfront, be transparent, be honest about those, so they can simply have a solution or get a solution ready for that problem to fix that issue. And so that's a little bit more into the due diligence period and what you should be doing during that period before you actually purchase the property. Now, in that due diligence period, like I said, you will have it written in your contract or your form that during that period, you would put down your earnest money. But if there was no deal to be had made, you could walk away and get your money back as well. And so just make sure that you have everything written up by somebody who's looking out for your best interest. And again, it's one of those things that it does matter. You can ask for due diligence periods. They're not always accepted, but again, everything's negotiable. So keep that in mind when you're looking at acquiring properties in the future. And so those are ways that I like to analyze properties. And I will say there's a couple other details in there that we can get into. And if you have any comments in regards to how you go about things, or maybe there's like a special little thing that you picked up along the way, please comment below. We'd be glad to hear from you and engage you. And you know, it's really about community. It's all about working together, seeing what is working today, right now. And so please give us a like, share it, comment it, and let us know how we can help in the future. Thank you.